Hi guys, it's Jackie with Intoxicating Arts, and today I'm making a card using the March 2017 Hero Arts card kit. But before I get into the card, I wanted to quickly run down what came in this kit, just in case you haven't seen it yet. It's already been out for a couple weeks, I just finally got into it. So first of all, they always put the stamps and dies together with some kind of ribbon. And this month it is a plastic straw-like ribbon. I don't use it on the card I'm showing you in this video, but I wanted to show you to always save that because you never know, you might want to use it on one of your cards, and they always make sure that it coordinates with the kit, so it's really cute and a nice little added touch. So first off, there is the black ink cube that was included. They say it's Copic safe, which means it's alcohol marker friendly, so that's good. And this marbled piece of paper with some gold shimmer in it, really cool. Some burlap, which I've been meaning to buy and I never do, so I'm happy that that was included in here. We have some green pieces of paper with this nice linen texture on it. I'm trying to show you that. I don't know if it's quite coming through. Kind of see it there. So it's like 2 card bases and then 2 more in this dark brown espresso type color. So really cool. And then of course we have the stamps and dies. So there were 2 4x6 stamp sets. One is like a bunny theme and then the other is a garden theme, and there's some nice sentiments in there. Coordinating dies and then also some standalone dies. So we have the picket fence and then the rolling fields with the little slits in it to put the vegetables in. So really cool. Alright, so onto the card. I'm starting off with my own pieces of paper that I got inspired by the kit to pick these out. This is kind of like a mossy green vintage type color, and then I just have a plain white color. This is a good time to use up your white cardstock that is maybe not marker friendly or watercolor friendly. You can just use that white cardstock up on your picket fence die. So I'm going to die cut the field one out twice because I plan on putting these on top of each other, like not directly on, I don't know how to explain, not directly on top of each other, but I'm going to make it look like there's more fields on the card. So you'll see in a little bit what I mean, but you definitely want to die cut this twice, and then you're going to need to die cut out the picket fence die once. But I actually die cut it out twice because I considered stacking those on top of each other for extra dimension, and then I just decided that it wasn't really necessary, so I only ended up using one of them. So if you're trying to make the exact card that I am, you just need one. If you want to just have extra pieces because you're die cutting, might as well do a couple of them. I do have the magnetic base plate on my Big Shot, and that makes this so nice and easy. I just love this thing. I've been wanting it for a long time. They're $40, so they're not cheap. It's definitely something to get if you die cut a lot. Alright, so this magnetic base plate, like I was just talking about, actually came in really super handy. Right here you can see I have a bunch of the coordinating dies laid out on this piece of paper, and this is actually a piece of watercolor paper. So I'm going to die cut all of these first, and then I'm going to stamp on them using that black ink cube that was included in the kit. And I will actually be using this same piece of paper as a template in a little bit here, so I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to take that die cut panel and pop it into our stamping tool here. This is the Hero Arts Stamp Perfect tool, which they actually don't make anymore. You have to get a Misty now, or the Tim Holtz one that's coming out. But anyway, so I just put this in here, and I'm going to start popping the pieces back in that I just took out, just, you know, kind of like a puzzle, and this will help keep them in place while I ink up, you know, and stamp down each image. So this is also going to help because I'm going to put all of the stamps down, and then I'm going to die cut all of these in the exact same place on another panel. So at least all this effort that I'm doing will get me multiple images and make it seem a little bit more worth it. So sorry for the baby outbursts. I just have her right here. So it's taken me over a week to try to edit this video just because life is crazy. But Right now, you're staring at nothing because I actually have the stamp tool like up in my face, and I'm trying to get the stamp positioned on there perfectly, which for me is really hard. I struggle with it. I just can't seem to get it lined up perfectly with these images. I don't know. This is one trick that I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere on YouTube. I watch a ton of videos, like I'm sure you guys do, try to get all these tips, and I go to do it and I'm just like, it's not working for me. Like, it works, but it takes a really long time. So it makes it not as fun for me, I guess, to use the coordinating dies for stamp sets. And I actually don't ever buy coordinating dies for stamp sets because they just annoy me. But since they come in these kits, I'm using it. And you can see my face down there in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm really getting in there trying to get it lined up as best as possible, and it's just, I struggle with it. It's hard, but I figure if I'm going to go through all of this work and do all of these, then I better do it a second time since it's all the setup part is done. You know, like, I can easily line up my dies again where they need to be, and all of the stamps are already on the panel. And it would be even better if you had an even bigger one, like they make the 12 by 12 Misty for scrapbooking. Then you could put way more stamps on there, and well, obviously you need a bigger die cutting machine too, like a Big Shot Pro. Anyways, I'm using the ink that was included in the kit. You can see the shovel isn't very good, and that is just not going to be fixed because it is just off a little bit. I do fix it before I do my next set, so at least that happens. You know, you can even do this as a trial run and then die cut even more, but that's not what I was really trying to do. I just wanted to get these to look as good as possible, and it's kind of hard because it is watercolor paper, so there's a lot of ridges and just roughness to it. It's very textured, but it works out in the end. I think they come out looking good. It does take me, I think, 4 or 5 different times of inking up the stamps, which is totally fine by me. I mean, at least we're able to use watercolor paper now because we have tools like this. Before, you wouldn't even really think about doing that. And you see, I just flipped the shovel over there. I'm not using the other side. I'm doing that to try to line it up so at least my next set of images will have the shovel on there properly. And so I'm just kind of testing it to see if, okay, yeah, that's gonna stamp okay. So at least for my next set, it's gonna be okay. So now I can just pop all of these out. I'm gonna set them aside and move on to doing another set of these. So I'm going to take that panel, and I just took a piece of washi tape and taped it down. I kind of made like a little washi tape hinge, and I taped it to another piece of watercolor paper. This is actually a different piece of watercolor paper. It's like a cream colored one. I'm not really sure where it came from. And this makes it so easy. You just pop the dies right back in there, especially if you have the magnetic base plate. It just kind of sucks them on there. So that makes it really nice and easy. You see how quickly I got those on. This is sped up at 3 times, so it did take me a little bit longer to do that in real life, but it's just very easy to do it multiple times. So you could mass produce once you get the setup done. The setup just takes longer than I would like. I guess I'm just a little too impatient for that. So I started popping those out of there, and then I realized that I should have left them in because I'm just going to end up putting them right back where they were anyways, so that I can put it on my stamping tool. And just going to move my magnetic base plate and my Big Shot out of the way so I can pull that stamping tool back over here and pop that back in there. Now you do need to make sure that the panel is cut the same, and mine, because the way that this paper is, it left this really jaggedy edge on the right hand side, so it did throw all of my images off slightly. So there was actually one that was really off, but I think I kept it anyways because it was okay. I'm just really picky with these. I like the lines to all be the same distance from each edge. So anyways, I'm going to move on to coloring. Sorry for all the baby noises. Hang on a second here. I'm going to move on to coloring. And I'm using my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers to color this in. I do show you the colors that I use, but it's just kind of for reference. I don't really do anything special. So I tend to just take 2 colors for anything that I'm doing. I don't really have a ton to choose from. That's one reason why, but I've also never really ventured into figuring out the right way to use these. So I wanted to show you the close-up of the carrot. Some of that black ink did bleed. These have only been sitting for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and I did not heat set it. So that may be why, because I did color some images after these had been sitting overnight and I did watercoloring with them and they worked just fine. I do know that watercoloring and alcohol ink is going to react differently, but I still feel like they probably would have been fine if I had either heat set them or left them to dry longer. So anyways, now I'm just going to go in and color this tilling or hoe type tool with some grays to give the suggestion of metal just on the end there on the actual tool piece of it. And then I'm going to take these pink colors, CR1 and CR2, and color in the bunny's ears. And I can't remember which one is which, sorry, but I think that CR2 is the lighter one and CR1 is darker. One of them is kind of more tan color and one is more pink. So I take the, you know, the lighter looking one, go in, and then I do the darker one, and then I take the lighter one towards the outer edge. I also did the little cheeks, and then I took a blender brush to kind of blend that together. And I'm showing you guys my coloring for a few reasons. One, I want to show you that you really don't have to know what you're doing. And two, yeah, you pretty much don't need to know what you're doing. You really don't have to get into all the craziness with like 3 of each color or even 2 of each color. Something like that brown, I just was like, hey, this is wood. Let's, you know, put a stripe of brown there. And sometimes I just take one color and my blender brush, which is probably incorrect, but it worked for me and I like how it came out. I wanted these bunnies to be white, but I wanted to put some of that gray shading suggestion of where the sun might be, which I was thinking, okay, upper right hand corner. So I was trying to leave some parts not outlined, assuming that the sun would be hitting that part of the bunny. And then, so I really just lines. I just did lines around the edges in a lot of the part. And a lot of the parts. I don't know how to talk today, sorry. But I pretty much outlined it, and then I just took my blender and blended it out. So simple as that, and I think it worked. I think it gave the suggestion that I was trying to give, that they are white, but they are 3-dimensional. So now I have my fields here, and like I told you guys earlier, I needed 2 of these because I wanted to stack them on top of each other. When I say stack on top, I automatically think like dimensionally, but this is what I meant. I meant like, you know, there's one on the top and one on the bottom. Kind of hard to explain when you're saying it, but when you see it now you get what I mean. I made sure to leave some of those slits on there to make it look like it meant to be one panel, and then I popped the picket fence on top of there, and I'm trying to figure out where I want all of my pieces to be. So one thing that I like to do when I build my scenic cards is I try to make it look somewhat realistic. Like, I figured, okay, this bunny over here is tilling the land, he's getting it ready for his friend to plant the carrots, but that doesn't really make sense because you don't plant carrots, you plant seeds, I'm pretty sure. Maybe he's pulling them out of the, I don't know. So I was trying to make sense of it, and then I realized that the images kind of don't make sense, like, as far as that goes. Anyways, I'm going to grab some glue here. This is an 88-cent glue that I got on clearance at Target. So just wanted to show you guys again, you don't need, like, all the fanciness that you think you need. Sometimes you can use an 88-cent school glue, and as long as you are putting it on I don't want to say scarcely because like I'm not scarce with it, but I don't do globs, you know? So just be careful, and then you don't have to worry about it oozing out and showing up and looking kind of tacky. So yeah, just be careful with it. And then I'm going to put some foam dots on the back of this little guy right here. And I wanted him popped up, even though it kind of makes more sense for the guy or girl who is tilling the land to be popped, because that bunny is closer to us, as you know, prospectively. But I just felt like I wanted the one with the carrot popped up. So again, not really making sense, but I don't think a lot of people who give or receive cards really dig that deep into it. At least I hope not, or they're gonna realize that this doesn't make sense. I'm probably sending this one to my grandma. I don't think she's gonna care. I think she's just gonna like that I sent her a card. So anyways, I'm going to put some ATG glue gun on the back of this field panel, and I found the perfect card base to put this on because it looks like sky, and it's this nice vintage muted type color, so it goes along with that grass color really well. So I love how that came together, and every time I tried to get it lined up on there, the baby had to pop her hand in and try to mess me up. so I was struggling there for a little bit. But I got that popped on there, and I love how that's looking. It's a little scarce in the top. We're gonna fix that in a bit, but I wanted to go on the inside of the card to put my sentiment really quick. And I was super surprised that there's no Happy Easter, Hoppy Easter, any Easter type sentiment, which I'm actually severely lacking. I don't have a single Easter sentiment in my collection, but I really like the You're Some Bunny special. It's really cute, so I just use that transparent grid to line up the sentiment just to make sure it's straight, and then I can use that same ink cube that we used earlier, and I stamped it down once. It actually looks pretty good with one stamping, but I had to be, you know, perfect and do it a second time. Makes it nice and bold, so I like how that came out. Now to fix the front of the card, I came up with an idea. I don't have any of those awesome cloud dies that pretty much every company offers, so I had to be creative, and I remember that last month's kit, which is actually not even my kit, it's my mom's, had a stencil with a cloud, so I picked that out of the kit, and I have this scrap piece of paper here. I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to trace around the cloud. Actually, the mask is what I'm using. There's a mask and a stencil, but so I traced around the mask of the cloud, and then I'm just going to cut it out. Simple as that. So I just made sure to cut inside of the line so that I don't have to worry about erasing anything, and it makes it really simple. So unfortunately I ran out of time here and I had to stop, but I will show you the card right now where it shows the cloud that I had cut out and put on the front. So there you can see, I feel like that really helps fill out that empty space there, and it just makes it look nice. Of course, you could always stamp your sentiment inside of the cloud if you wanted to, but I just really wasn't into that. I just wanted to keep it simple. But do you see how cute those bunnies are on the front now that it's all put together? No fancy coloring required, and I think they look really cute. They just have kind of a touch of color, and I think it's perfect. So anyways, I hope you had fun watching this card. I think this is probably one of the simplest ways to use the kit, and I hope that I'll come up with something even better to share with you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye!